Hello and welcome back to Holt Hanley Weather. Make sure to watch to the end of the video today because we got 3 big weather stories going on throughout this entire week. Now before we dive into the exact regions, let's get a big look at what the weather's doing across the entire country. As you can see right now, there's some snow in the northeast, heavy rain and thunderstorms in the southeast, and then a little low forming off of Southern California that you're going to want to keep your eye on as I click through here. So you see that snow moves out of the northeast, the rain persists in the southeast, and that low moves into Texas, bringing some snow into New Mexico and Texas. And then another band of rain starts forming into the southeast as it combines with another low moving through the Dakotas. Well, that's going to form almost like a superstorm that stretches rain all the way from Louisiana to Pennsylvania and then drops some decent snowfall numbers for the northeast. I'm not going to give you those numbers yet. You'll have to wait. So let's dive into the exact regions. Right now, there's already some heavy rainfall in the southeast. Why is this important? Well, if you remember, last week they got a bunch of flooding, tornadoes. They're trying to recover right now, but the weather is not letting them. There's heavy rain, heavy thunderstorms already in Louisiana, working their way into Mississippi, and unfortunately, that's going to continue basically all week. As we move through, you see a nice organized band start to form, basically going from Texas through Alabama. There's flash flooding pretty much in that entire region. From Texas to Alabama, we're looking at some flash flooding, severe flood threat, thunderstorms, hail, and maybe even some tornadoes. Hopefully not though. So that one moves through by Tuesday, and then another one starts to come through on late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. And this actually, I think, looks worse than that system before. This is an organized band. This is the one that's pulling up into that low that's going to hit the northeast. You see it's going all the way from Louisiana, basically up to Pennsylvania. So it's just going to be a wave of rainfall that moves through the entire region. Mississippi gets it early Thursday morning, moves into Alabama and Georgia by Thursday at about 7 a.m. And then Florida starts to see that on Thursday afternoon. Wow. And then it almost intensifies again towards Thursday night, Friday morning. When is it gone? Well, luckily it's gone by early Saturday morning, Friday night. But again, that's a pretty long time to be getting those heavy rainfall amounts when your soils are already saturated. Now, where is all this rain coming from? Well, it's coming from right up from the Gulf of Mexico. You can see there's a little shear. There's winds coming down and winds coming up. That's going to spin up some tornado activity, some severe thunderstorms. But the real thing driving this entire system is that warm air getting pulled in from the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to do 2 things. One, that air is extremely moist. So that's going to give the atmosphere a bunch of moisture and water vapor that it needs to give you those heavy rainfall totals. 5 to 8 inches in basically from Louisiana up through northern Alabama. Could be getting 5 to 8 inches with this. And so moisture is the first one. What's the second one? Warm air advection. When warm air moves into an area, advection is a fancy word for warm air moving in. And what that's going to do, when warm air moves into an area, then it rises up. When it rises up, it creates clouds, maybe some instability, and as we're going to see throughout this week, thunderstorms, possibly tornadoes, definitely some lightning. So that's something to look out for. The big thing driving this is that air moving up from the Gulf of Mexico, and you can see it just streaming through here. Temperature is pretty warm right now, 69, 70 degrees. That's pretty warm for this time of the year. Let's look at what's going to happen in Texas. Right now you see severe thunderstorms already going on in eastern Texas, northern Louisiana. Then they're actually going to intensify by about 1 o'clock today. You're getting 0.5, maybe even more inches per hour, pretty much from central Texas up into Tennessee, where there also has been some flooding up in Tennessee. So you guys got to watch out as well. That rain continues, and then right when you think you're about to get a break, another low moves through. Let's move back right there. You see, this is Tuesday at 7 a.m. New Mexico, northern Texas could be seeing some decent snowfall rates in some places. Maybe 0.2, 0.4 inches per hour of snowfall, little wintry mix, and then rain to the south. Well, that low is going to move through, going to bring some heavy rain and thunderstorms to southern Texas, up into Louisiana and Arkansas, and it really persists almost all week. It intensifies. Wow, you can really see the nice band on Wednesday night here, that as that low moves through Tennessee, and then that one's going to move through Texas. You're in the clear by Thursday, Friday. So let's see what those snow accumulations are going to be. Maybe 4 to 5 inches in New Mexico, maybe 5 to 8 in central New Mexico. That's pretty good. And then 2 to 3 inches in northern Texas. And again, that's because there's a big dip in the jet stream and basically a big low pressure that moves through, and that's going to bring some cold Arctic air down. Well, let's take a look at that cold Arctic air and get an idea of where this possible storm is coming from for the Northeast towards the end of the week. I gave you a little preview of the big story at the end of this video. So right now you see there's basically a ridge over much of the south and southeast. Again, you got that warm air moving in from the Gulf of Mexico, but something interesting to look at here is that low sitting off Southern California, that cut off from the trough that is now over Mexico, Montana, and like the Dakotas. So that low cut off, and then watch what it does. It's going to recombine right there on Thursday morning. That low that was sitting off Southern California recombines with a giant trough moving through the central U.S. Well, what that's going to do, first it's going to drop some snow in New Mexico and Texas. You can see those cold Arctic temperatures are getting pulled all the way down there. Not as far south as last week, but still pretty far south for this time of the year. And then we're going to see it work its way up and hit the Northeast. Now there's a big difference between what the Northeast looks like right now and what it's going to look like on Thursday through Saturday. You can see that cold Arctic air has really worked its way in. Nice cold temperatures which will allow for some more snowfall. You can see if we go back to right now, Monday, your temperatures are more in the blues. For heavy snowfall rates, you really want to see those purples work their way down. And unfortunately, that's not really happening for you. That gives you a little idea of what Winter Storm Lamont is given to the Northeast right now. Yesterday, it dropped about a foot in Minnesota, maybe even foot to 2 feet in some places. Unfortunately for the Northeast, it's not looking that good. Rain basically and then covering the entire state of Pennsylvania. Rain covering western New York. Light snow accumulations in northern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. But again, this winter storm's kind of a dud for the Northeast, and in a second we'll look at why. So you see that one is gone by Tuesday. You're going to get a little snow this morning, not much. How much are you going to get? Maybe 1 to 2 inches in New York, maybe 3 inches in Pennsylvania. It's even surprising it's that much because you're mostly getting rain. And then up into Maine, you're getting max 2 to 3 inches, 1 inch throughout majority of the state. What's the reason for this? Well, it's the warm temperatures. They're just spoiling your snowfall. You can see 35, 37 degrees in New York. What's it looking like in Massachusetts? 36 degrees. Southern Maine, this is the most surprising number. 37 degrees in southern Maine. Again, that is most likely due to, you can equate the warm temperatures along the coast to the warm Gulf Stream and air coming in from the warm Atlantic, but basically all of Pennsylvania is above 35 degrees. So that's why you're getting rain and really missing out on the snow that the Midwest got so much of. Luckily for you snow lovers in the Northeast, there's something else on the way. Again, that cutoff low off Southern California reforms with the trough and really brings in some energy and moisture that you guys are going to need to get those snowfall rates. See, not really much in the way of precipitation through Wednesday, And then starting early Thursday morning, that low starts to work its way up into the northeast. Some snow in Pennsylvania, rain in the southern parts of the state, and then really the core of this storm starts to hit Thursday at about 1 in the morning. You see the low just off to the southwest of Pennsylvania and some heavy snowfall rates throughout basically all of New York. Well, as that low works its way into Pennsylvania, it's going to bring those heavy snowfall rates into central New York, southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, and southern Maine. And then as it works its way up, by Thursday at about 1 p.m., the snow is done for majority of the Northeast. Maine, you're still going to be getting some. How much are you going to get? Well, let's take a look at it. As you can see, not much happening in the middle of this week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and then early Thursday, you start to see some snow accumulations. Looking at some pretty good numbers here. Looking at maybe 5 to 8 inches in parts of New York, and then that's going to work its way up. Let's see, how much? Maybe 5 to 8 inches in southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire. You could be getting 4 to 5 inches. Massachusetts, you've been missing out a lot recently, and you could be getting 2 to maybe 4 inches with this one. So that's encouraging. One last thing I'm going to say. Moving back here where we can see the low. If you watch one of my videos from about 3 days ago, that low was up in Canada. And basically the entire Northeast was missing out on the snowstorm. I think northern Maine saw maybe an inch or 2 of snow, and everywhere else was just rain. And I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I predicted that that low was going to move a lot farther south than the models were originally saying, and that's exactly what's happened. New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, you guys are now getting some nice snowfall with this one, and if that trend continues, and this low continues to move south, you could be getting a massive snowstorm. The trend is looking good for you snow lovers. If this can move farther south and even maybe a little into the Atlantic, well, you guys could be getting maybe double-digit snowfall numbers. I'm going to keep you guys updated on this storm, so subscribe to my channel and check back later. And if you have any advice for how I can improve these forecast videos in the future, I'm always open to constructive criticism. Thanks for watching.